Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting edition. Today we have with us Adedeji Aderile, who will be taking us on the business of HR beyond formal employment. Adedeji Aderile has about 15 years work experience that spans across organizations like Intercontinental Bank PLC, now Access Bank. He also worked with ISON BPO as a senior manager HR. In the last few years, he has been with Swift Employment Global Check. I mentioned to you also that Adedeji Aderile is an electrical engineer by training, but today, and of course, over the last 16 years, he has been doing human engineering. No wonder they are always quick to talk about the engineering in management process. Now, I present to you my brother, my friend, my colleague, my mentor, my body, my personal person, Adedeji Aderile. You may please unmute and take it over. Thank you. Welcome once again.
Wow, thank you so very much. So good to be here. Wow, it's been way back, Oliemi, and we thank God, that God has brought us this far. I'm so happy to be here and to identify with this, knowledge-driven community that is your brainchild, and it's evolving in a very fast and in a very rapid way. I want to thank everyone that, constantly shows up, to hear us speak. And all I want to do this evening, or wherever part of the world you are joining in from, is to, just give an insight into the business angle of HR and how, people can actually know that, yes, they are not just in a professional field, they're in a field that can bring them, huge fortune. So a brief about myself. When I was in ISIN, it was a very good role, Pan-African. I was a senior manager and the only Black, in that level, in the executive level for, a long period of time. And, so it was a very good one. We're across Africa, India, have one of the best or the biggest telecoms company being our major, shareholder, and everything. So it was a good one, good pay, 8-digit salary and all that, but at the time I had to do some extrapolation. And I did the extrapolation of my salary in the next 10 years. And I saw what it would be if I continued working in that organization with compound interest, with simple interest, with all kinds of interests, with all kinds of salary increase. Even if I jump from today to become the MD, I know what it's going to be. I just felt that there was more to me than that. And I just felt that there was a time I looked at the CEO. I felt that this man is not as smart as, the kind of result he's getting. So he's just a risk taker, and the risk seemed to be paying off. So I said, okay, and then I believe that there is something that I can do. So, and that actually, I just decided that I was going to leave. And being a very, spiritual, I have my spiritual inclinations along that line. I prayed and I knew that God would have me to take a bold step to start off my business now. And that's where the angle of the business HR comes in. So there's a lot to talk about, today, but it's just for us within this community to know that, there's a huge potential for us beyond the formal employment, beyond the 8 to 5, engagement. And you don't have to leave your job and start doing another thing. Some people will just be like, okay, there's nothing in HR. So let me go and start selling land, or let me start selling, some people will go into fashion designing, some people will go into all manner of, good trade, certainly. But the only reason why they are undermining the power of the HR is that maybe they feel that there's really nothing much in terms of, remuneration. I will tell you, when I started, that was in 2014, officially, I burnt the bridges behind me, and I started in 2014. In 2016, I did an audit and checked my, financial flow for the year. And at that time, that's 2016, I was on 800 million, flow. And I only had one staff. So it's me and one staff. And we did 800 million. It's very verifiable. It's just that I can't show the account statement here, very verifiable. And I was like, my God, how did I get here? How did I get here? And I was I'd not scratched the surface of the entire, value chain of HR. I just chose one small part, and I was doing it in my own little way. I didn't have any kind of, big physical office. Just like I said, we were just two. Our office was basically on client sites, and that was all. And we were able to pull in that. So imagine if I had put in much more, some bigger structure and a lot of things. You can imagine the potentials, that are therein. So that is what I just want to share with us briefly today. What are the various aspects? What are the various business lines in HR? One thing I want you to do, that I really desire that we do, is to, be a professional. And, if I say being a professional, don't just say that I love HR. I'm an HR person. Know the rudiments. Be intense in your acquisition of knowledge in your subject area. Be a subject matter expert, and just go for it. Be very deliberate about it, because that's what you are going to use, when you get out of the, regular employment. It's going to really pay you. So don't pass the buck. Don't say that this work is too much. It is good. I was able to learn a lot in icing. I learned a lot when I was in the banking sector. I learned a lot when I moved into the real estate. It was always looking for what I will have, because I know where I'm going. Where I'm going will require that I have that knowledge. And sometimes there are some industry specific, tweak that if you have not been in the industry, you'll be at a loss as to the HR aspect of that industry. So some people say HR is the same, but there are some industry specific, angle to HR that if you are trying to get into your business, you need to also know, that area. So it's very important. It's interesting, and I just believe that we'll be able to have some benefits today. So on my slides, I believe everyone is able to see my slide. So part of our discussion outline, I'm just going straight into, the various business angles in the HR that you can begin to explore. So we have the outsourcing services. There's a learning and development. There's HR compliance audits, the payroll services. We have recruitment and executive search. We have HR development. We have advisory services. We have background check services, performance management, business partnering. We have surveys, and we also have policy formulation. It's not exhaustive, but I just keep it at this because of the time frame that I have to talk today. Okay, so I'll move straight to each one of them, trying to, trying to drill into some of the things or the scope of each of these components that I've talked about. Now, outsourcing services, very, very fantastic aspect of HR that can fetch you a whole lot of money. And that's just the truth. And sorry, I'm talking about money, because in business, liquidity is very important. So you might be hearing me talk more or emphasizing more about money. That's the blood of any business. So we're talking about the business angle of HR. So I'll be making a lot of references, to, financial influence and turnovers and all that. It's going to be very good. So in terms of outsourcing, you can choose, different levels. You can choose, the business outsourcing. You can decide to, do outsourcing for personnel. You can do outsourcing for processes, as the case may be. For me, I did outsourcing for personnel, and I was able to grow the personnel from 2 to about 540. And that gave me a turnover of about 800 million. Yeah, like what I said. And it's very easy, in terms of the outsourcing business is very easy. What you need is, it's important that you are licensed, because we're professionals. So part of the things, normally, if you are running a business, you should be registered with, Corporate Affairs Commission. And there are some other statutory documentations that you would need. And also, if you want to, provide outsourcing services, you must have your recruiter's license. It's very important. Have your recruiter's license. That gives you the authority to be able to hire, to hire personnel and manpower within the Nigerian space. So once you get your license, to perform your outsourcing services, then you can start. One thing I want us to also know is that you don't have to wait till you leave, your formal employment before you can begin to do some of these things by the side, as long as it does not conflict with the business or with your office, as long as it's not competing with it, as long as it's not distracting you, and you are able to focus, please, you can do it. I know people that are HR managers and they have outsourcing businesses, and it's fetching them, some cool money. And, so the outsourcing, sometimes, you can be so lucky that a company just decides, to take some manpower off their payroll. And if you are lucky, you can bid for that, and they give them to you, so they can actually move employees and just move them to you, and you start managing them. The good thing about it is that there is a fixed management fee. The management fee for managing those staff, it ranges. It can range between 8% of the monthly gross salary of that employee. And it can go as high as 20% to, at some time. And it's a function of the gross salary of the employee. So let's take, for example, if I have a staff and the gross salary of that staff is, let's say 500,000, and I have a contractual agreement, our SLA is that every month I take 10% of that. So on every staff, I'm going to take 50,000 naira. And what are the services I'm expected to provide to make sure that, all the statutory deductions are made and all remittances are made to the body that are managing those, deductions. You just make it so I have NHF, I deduct NHF, I go and pay to the Federal Mortgage Bank. I deduct tax, I go to pay to the Inland Revenue Service. I make sure that the ITF is made, the NSITF is done. I make sure that the group life, coverage, the group life assurance, everything is covered, and that's all. And once you're able to do that, it's auto run. And it's not that you do it for one staff part time, or the pension is also there. You do the pension and everything. And the good thing about it is that you are not doing it like one person. It's grouped. So if I want to, pay tax, I just pay it. It's a schedule. You just send the schedule, to the Inland Revenue Service, and that's all, and all that. So it can be so simplified, but the returns on it is just like massive. It's massive. Sometimes when I look at it, I say, are you for real? So I just made, what did I even do? So I've not done anything, but the money keeps coming in. The only thing there is that the risk factor there is that these employees are your employees. And if there's any kind of litigation, you will be involved. But many a times, there are very few times that you begin to experience, litigation issues. It's only if you inherited those employees and they are trying to sue their company. Most times employees don't like to be called outsourced staff. They want to identify with the main brand. But apart from that, it's smooth, it's easy, it's cool cash. I'll put it like that. It's cool cash. Now, the business development angle is that once you set it up, you can now begin to look for, businesses. You can look for businesses. It's very easy. It could be in trickles. I've had clients that gave me just one staff, and I've had staff that gave me about 500 staff. So you can begin. It's critical mass. Every little drop. Somebody comes. Somebody tells you, you know what. In fact, I know some even private individuals that say, you know what, I don't want to have any dealings with this driver. Just get me a driver. I'll be paying you, you'll be paying him. And that's all. And so by the time you begin to add all those things together. So what you need to do is to map your market, and do your own, carve out your own area of outsourcing that you want to do. And you just go ahead and start doing it. I will tell you, once you have about 100 employees, I'm telling you, this is cool money, cool cash for you coming in every month. Every month is going to come, and, just like I've said, if you target, if you have them from one organization, fair enough. If it's from several organizations, good. It will still come up to something substantial. If you are able to have up to about 500, employees, and if they are, if they are blue collar employees, I can guarantee you that you will be having close to about 5 million naira in terms of your profits on a monthly basis. And that is just it. That's your management fee. And if you look at maybe the cost, and interestingly, you don't necessarily have to have a physical office to be able to handle, because these outsourced staff are not going to be in your office. So you can actually have a laptop and you'll be managing 1,000 staff from your laptop. You don't need them, because they're on your client physical office. They're not in your own physical office, so the cost of having to rent one big office is no longer there. The only reason why you might have a physical office is if the client, makes it a condition that you must have a physical office. I can tell you a lot of outsourcing companies here, they don't have. In fact, some of the, interestingly, and I'm saying it here, interestingly, most outsourcing companies that you see, they will tell you, they will go to banks and tell them, we have a representation, we have an office in Abuja. Some of them, they will come to me because I am situated in Abuja. They will come to me and say, DG, you know what? There's this business we're looking for. Please, can you represent us as if you are a staff of so organization? You understand? And I'll do that because they'll give me money. Yeah, they'll give me money for it. So I'll go and represent them there as if they have a presence in Abuja. So that's how they bid for, jobs all around. And because the truth of the matter is they don't even need me, to be able to go to all those staff, wherever. They've managed them from their own office, from their laptop, and that's all. It's only cases where maybe there is an employee relations matter, a staff has been sick for a prolonged period, or they are not able to see the staff, a staff was arrested by police and all those. So those are just the exceptional cases. Apart from that, you don't need to physically be there to be able to manage these people. So there's a whole lot that is there. Now, sometimes in terms of common requests for proposal, if you are trying to drop proposal for outsourcing, you are bidding for an outsourcing job. I've said some of those things. You need your recruiter's license. You need all your CAC documentations ready. You need your tax, tax clearance for maybe about 3 years. You need your NSITF certificate. You need your ITF certificate. Once all those things are in place, and perhaps you need a letter from your bank stating your financial liquidity, as the case may be. And you also need perhaps a proof of your clientele, the people that you have been working for, what you have been doing for them. Once you have that, it's very good. It's very easy for you to now begin to bid for, outsourcing jobs, everywhere. And trust me, you are certainly going to get it. So outsourcing is one area that you can look into to explore. All right. The other one is learning and development. Very, very good. Good money that will come for you here. In learning and development, you can actually decide to freelance. So if I'm talking about freelancing, is that yes, you're a subject matter expert, or maybe you have developed your proficiency in, making public presentations and all that. You can decide on some topics that you can take, and you can begin to develop proficiency in that area. You're an HR practitioner, so I believe that basic soft skill training is one thing that every HR, personnel should be able to do. So, and you can do it either for free or for a fee, as the case may be. But what you're doing is that you are developing competence along that line. And interestingly, once people know that you are able to do that, then you start getting referrals. And you over time, you don't discover that, you even have too many things, in terms of training. Somebody needs somebody that can help him train. They will just call you, please, are you available? There's this training we want to do. And before you know it, a lot of money will just keep coming to you, a whole lot of money. I can testify to this. This is the world I live in. This is the world I live in now. Yes, I pray, as I'm about to enter into the week, that God should give me favor, which is very, very important. Once the week starts, I'm not afraid of how the week will end, because I know that there will be somebody somewhere looking for somebody that must train, and they will get in touch with me, and I already have a fee, I have a price that I'm, if I'm going to facilitate for you, there's a set price, and I get that. So you can decide, you can start freelancing, and, start doing that. But you can take it a step further and develop, a learning management system where, you have, it's a one-stop, how do I put it? A management system, that people can have as much resource information as they so desire. So people are developing learning management system like what we have, now, what I'm doing right now. After this, it goes, I'm sure this will go to the YouTube, and people can access it. But on YouTube, people can access it for free. But what you are doing in learning management system is that for people to be able to access the content of just like what I'm talking about now, this is money. So if you have a learning management system, you can put all these resources, in a place. Like we have places like Udemy, and we have a lot of them like that. It's a learning management system. So you can decide that, what, I will have a library of information that people can come in and, with maybe an annual subscription, monthly subscription, quarterly subscription, they can have access to so number of resource materials. You can decide to establish that. It's a part of HR business. So you can decide to do that. Also, you can decide to go into curriculum development. This is so amazing. People don't know. You can be in your work. You can be working in Shell or whatever is the name of your organization, and you can be developing content for organizations. You understand? Some people just want you to help them to develop content. Sometimes United Nations want it. Sometimes World Bank wants it. So most of the time we don't even look at some of the adverts. We're only looking for advert of, okay, they need HR manager. Go beyond looking for HR manager or HR director positions. Don't understand? There are some deeper things that these people need that you would be in a better position to solve it for them. And many a times you don't need to be physically there. Most of these things are done remotely. So in terms of curriculum development, you can help. You can help set up, a learning management process for organization. These things don't come cheap. I've talked about facilitation. In terms of bidding for jobs, the jobs are all there. You can buy tenders. You will see people looking for, somebody that can help. Now, the year is running to an end. And, I'm in Abuja, and most government agencies must finish their budget. And one of the ways by which they finish their budget is through training. So this is the best time to start shooting. Just shoot it everywhere. Start sending proposals. Most of these things can be done, online. You can send emails. Sometimes you can print and send to some of these agencies. They will call you. Interestingly, they will call you. And once they call you, their money is not. Sometimes, sometimes we just train 10 staff, and each staff is $3,500. And 10 staff, that's $35,000. You just do a 5-day training in Ghana and you are back. My brother, 5-day training, and see, even if you are in a full 8 to 5 employment, see, when I was in the bank and in icing, anytime I see, one gig like this, you know what? I take my leave. Straight, I'll just take 2-day leave, 3-day leave. I'll go and use it to solve that particular problem and come back. So please don't wait till you're retired or you are tired before you start doing some of these things. Be on the know. The thing that is so, that amazes me is that the professionals in this field, they don't have the courage to step out. We have a lot of, how do I put it? A lot of quacks. They are the ones doing this job. I'm telling you, they don't know anything about HR, nothing about HR, but they are the ones going to collect HR contracts. They are the ones taking the bidding for training. In fact, interestingly, they bid for the training and they'll start looking for us. They'll start looking for us. So that's, in fact, I'm always at that value chain and almost at the end most of the time, because these ones would have gone, bidded for the contract, they've given them 10 million, they will now come to you and be talking to you about 1,500,000, and they don't really understand. Imagine, see the margin that's gone. And the only reason is that we're not, stepping forward and doing these things ourselves. So I'm actually charting a very fantastic future for all of us. It is blissful. You are in a good setting. This HR thing, you can really, really make a fortune out of it. You can retire and know that there's peace. You can develop all these things. So you can set up open courses, webinars, you can do a whole lot of that. It can be through classroom, it can be virtual, it can be hybrid, whichever way you can make it happen, and the billing, you can decide to set your own standard. There are some people, if you don't pay them 1 million naira, they will not facilitate for you. Some is 100,000, some is 200,000, some is 250,000. But just number one, make sure that you have the content. Make sure you have developed your facilitation skills, and once you are a subject matter expert in a particular field. Once you have that, it's very easy for you, to keep growing. All right. You can also look at HR compliance audits. It's just like the name is, you have been practicing HR. There are organizations that just want to, some are not, some, because the way some organizations treat their HR, some they will start with a family member. When the business is growing and they're having a lot of too many, people-related matters, they will now start looking for somebody, an intervention somewhere to help them. And many a times I get, this kind of briefs. We go there, the first thing you are supposed to do is just to even audit their processes. And what are the processes? Maybe the 6 major aspects of HR, performance management, the recruitment, the compensation and benefit, employee relations, the training, learning and development, maybe the industrial relations, as the case may be, all those areas. You just look at it and go into details, review their policies in terms of compensation. Check out, are deductions being made? Is it in line with the policies? You just review all those things. See, in fact, I can't even, if I begin to talk about all these things, how it's just so interesting. But the price that you put, if I send you a proposal, and I attach the price to it, you will want to pay me because the English that I put there, but me, myself, I'll be laughing. I'll give you an example. There was one project. The project was something I could finish in 2 days, but the organization felt that their problem was too much, So I also have to help them magnify their problem with big grammar, with big diagrams and everything. All the things that I need to solve their problem is already in a template that I can just, copy and paste. I know your problems are already documented. I just copy and paste. So you just send them the proposal and tell them that, this intervention will last for three months. Do you understand? And my fee is 10 million naira, and they'll give you. And you don't need to do any more thing. The template, everything is already there. You just have maybe some few physical visits to the office site, few interactions with some heads of department, and perhaps maybe for some staff. Your result is ready. It's ready. So cool cash again, for you in terms of audit. So and the interesting thing is that some of us were already doing this audit in our different places of work. Commercialize it. Some of you already have, because some of you already have the template. Some of you have been audited before. And when they audited you, they sent you the report of the audit. Don't take it personal that they say I didn't do this. No, that is money they just put in your hands. Just remove some things there. Do you understand? And set it your own. Set up your own. I'm now an HR audit expert. Go and do the same for other organizations and be collecting 10 million naira. That's very simple as that. So all these areas is something, that we can go into because of time. All right. Payroll services, very, very important. So in fact, the truth of the matter is some people can tell you, help us design, develop a payroll template. Do you know what? I did one for one organization. They begged me. They begged me to collect 300,000, and I collected it from them. You understand? But what is template, my brother and sister? Is Excel sheet formularized, and you have it, bifurcated. So you have basic salary, housing, transport, this. Then you have the column for your deductions. You deduct this, you deduct that, and everything. Template there. The template is ready, and you formularize it. So every employee that comes in, they insert it, and it just generates. It's just formularized. Just to formularize something. It's a problem to some people, but it's not a problem to you. Interestingly, some of us are doing these things for free. Somebody will call you. You are doing Mr. Nice. I'm not saying you should not do Mr. Nice, but I'm telling you, you are sitting on fortunes that you don't know. So please begin to put structure around some of these things. It's very good. You can still engage in your formal job and put structures around these things. When somebody tells you that, do you have like a payroll template? Don't just say, I have one, let me just give it to you. No, it's I offer this service by the side. And if I'm going to do this for you, because of you, I will collect 300,000. Because it's you. I'm telling you, they will do it. All right. Sometimes in payroll services, you can offer technical support in human resource information systems installation. Excuse me. So sometimes, organizations just want you, they are trying to bring in a new HR software. They need you to be on board, to help them, to give them technical support. Sometimes this happens. This one, it doesn't come cheap at all. At all. It doesn't come cheap. When you have to calibrate a new HR system for organization, that happens. Sometimes, and I've done this before, some organizations outsource payroll. They just outsource it. Cool money. The good thing about it is that when they outsource payroll for you, you take 10% of the entire payroll size. So if the organization, if their payroll size is 100 million per month, don't understand, just calculate 10%. That is your money. And that is all. Cool things. In fact, some of us here, some of these services, our organizations will give some people to help us, and you are there. And you are there. You are sitting in that office. Somebody will come and just say, it's the one helping us to recruit. He will recruit for you as if you cannot recruit yourself. And those guys will just smile on. And what you will earn, maybe in the next 3 months, is what they will just collect and just go like that. And interestingly, the person that is doing this thing is not even a professional. That is what baffles me. That's what gets me so angry. These guys are not professional. There's one, in fact, there's one training center. That training center is well known, and they coach people for PHR, SPHR, GPHR. That's interesting. The MD CEO did not go to school. No, people will not know. He's one of the lead facilitators for this thing. He didn't go to school. He did not go to nothing about HR. He just saw a business that people like certificates, and he just took the PHR manual. The guy was just reading it. He read it. He was reading it because he wanted to do business. And once he did it, he set up some things. Today, my big one. He didn't go to the university that we all went through and all that. So what am I saying? We have a lot of people that, they are just street smart. They are street smart and they are making all these things. So if you can have a lot of quacks doing these things, why can't we, that we're professionals, why can't we just rise up to the occasion, and just sum up courage that, what, I can also do this. Some is tax computation, and salary reduction. Some people just want you to help them with their tax. I do that. You just help with tax computation and they'll give you money. Some, they want you to do pay slip. It's all, but the truth of the matter is there's a whole lot of money. Please, I beg you, stop doing this thing for free for people. Put a structure around yourself, as I'm talking about all these things, look at, within the entire HR value chain, look at the one that you're already an expert in. Try and set up an organization. Even if you don't have a company now, you can just do it on a personal basis, but tell people, invoice it yourself, do your own invoice, put your name and your account number and give it to them and say, for me to offer this service, it's starting like that. Once you begin to do like that, you would just go and register your company in CAC and start doing it. And before you know it, things are going. The next one is recruitment. And this one is very popular. We have, in fact, a lot of recruitment, all manner of recruitment firms, all types, no HR background. They'll just be like, and it's very, everybody knows it's 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. See them all over town. All over town. There are some plazas here in Abuja. Understand? There are some guys that they recruit. Some of us even see it. They will paste one paper outside. We are looking for receptionists, drivers, everything. Call this number. That is your job. They are collecting from you. It's your job. The person, is it you that you go and paste a paper outside? You will not do that. Don't understand? But these guys, these quacks are doing it. If you see some of the terrible things that they do, some of these people, they will collect registration fee from a candidate, registration fee, maybe 5,000 naira, and that doesn't guarantee the job. Oh. Then when you get the job, they will still collect, they can tell you that you pay your first salary to them. After that, they will still go and collect money again from the client. You understand? Like, this is double tragedy. If you know what, some unemployed youths, if you know what they are going through in the hands of these quacks. But, just like the Bible will say, sorry, I'm quoting the Bible. The Bible says the world is waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. If we are not manifesting, the quacks will always be there. We need to get them out of this business. We need to get them out of business. So they are all over. But we need to rise up and begin to do these things. So for recruitment, certainly sometimes you might need some license, to put that in place. Some of your documentations, you need to have them, in place. You can also now decide on the scope of the recruitment that you want to do, because recruitment is so huge, it's massive. It's massive. I know some people that their area of concentration is, drivers. And they are doing massively, the kind of turnover that they're doing. Just drivers. They just give corporate drivers. That is all. Huge money coming for them. Some, they don't focus on blue collar. Some, they focus on white collar. And they just do that. They can help you with entry-level recruitment. They can help you at any level. Some, they don't even do that. Some people don't even go through all this thing. They just do executive search. They don't do small, let's go and do, oh yeah, everybody submit CV. Oh yeah, let's start sorting. Some people don't want that stress. And it's stressful. I won't tell you a lie. Executive search can be so good. You just poach. These are people that they want to collect. Their salaries is about 100 million per annum. You understand? Just one candidate, 100 million per annum. If the candidate eventually succeeds, you get 10% of 100 million. That's 10 million naira. Do you understand? For just one candidate. And you go and executives are just getting the right people. And you can do it even wherever you are. It's just very simple. Very simple. So the recruitment, it's something that is very good. If you want the critical mass area, the blue collar, the white, the blue collar, in fact, there are people, there are agencies, they call them agencies. There are some agencies that, they help you to recruit chef. Some is chef, some is driver. Some is even, there are some ones that they even recruit house helps. House helps. If you know how much those guys are making, it's not small money. Those guys are rich. You might just be like, "Ah, he's doing house help," but big money, big money. They have collected the job from us. All right. So you must have, in recruitment, you must have a very strong database, management system, and that helps you to spool, candidates at every given point in time. The truth of the matter is, some of you are already having, some of you already have, sorry, the light just went a little, just a minute. All right. So some of us already have, those database based based on where we are working currently. So don't throw them away. People applying for jobs, don't throw that away. Just build a very strong, database. There are also some added services that you can choose to, delve into. Like, you can begin to do like a psychometric analysis. You can set up a business angle that all you do is psychometric analysis or personality assessment. So you can, like SHL, that's what they do. They just do a test to analyze candidates. You can decide to have that value chain, of business, and just say, you know what, I'm not doing recruitment, I'm not doing outsourcing. All I need to do is to be able to, help organizations to be able to know their candidates very well. That's good enough. So you can decide to do that, and your clientele is just everywhere. You just carve out your scope and carve out, your clientele. Some, they choose that, you know what, I'll just go with individual. Some, they go for corporate, some, they just go for, SMEs. Some, they go for multinationals. Just decide what you want. But whichever way, just know that the lowest amount of money you will earn is 10% of Nigerians' minimum wage. Just have that. That's the base for anything that you are doing. That's the base, and it goes up. So good money for us if we choose to go that area. Yeah, I'm sure that I need to, work with time. So there's a aspect of HR development, setting up HR. You can help. Some people just want to set up HR. They just don't know. They don't know what to do. So HR development, you can help people, to set up their HR offices. With that, you can help them with policies, SOPs for the organization, handbook review. You can help them review their handbook, all the policies, help them to document and put all those things together. Hey, my brothers, if you hear the kind of money they pay for what I just said, you have all these things. You already have them in your laptop, but you just don't know that there is money, or you don't know how to. And, we need to begin to push ourselves out. Let the world know what you do. That is very, very important. People don't know that you are doing these things. Let the world know that you can train. Let the world know that, when you do something, when you finish a project, a task, go on your LinkedIn and just talk about it. I just completed this task and it was this, it was this, it was it. Be talking about, as you are talking, it's a commercial advertisement of you. Somebody somewhere will pick up on you one day and just tell you that, please, I want you to help me do this. And it's going to, it's going to really go well. All right. The other area, is background check services. Background check, very, very important. Every organization is supposed to do this. You can set up, a business, and there's somebody recently, that just set up a background check. She just, okay, so what happened was, okay, she just finished school, and I think a background check company that just came in newly to Nigeria just engaged her. She worked with them maybe for about 1 year. She got married and she had to relocate. She had to relocate to another part of Nigeria. So and because that organization was not in that part of the country, she had to resign. And the moment she resigned, she just felt that, okay, what can I do? And she started her own. She started her own. And yeah, she will be going up and how many of us do due diligence in terms of, okay, who is even the MD CEO? For how long have you been operating? Where have you worked? What's your profile? Sometimes we don't check all these profiles. We just see somebody drop proposal and it's a need, and we give the person. And then, so what am I saying in essence? It's something that we can do. So background check services, you can set it off and begin to do. And the good thing is that all these bodies, especially if it's certificate verification, we already have, established organizations. What we do, because my company will run background check services, you understand? All we do is to, write the schools, and we write the school, without the knowledge of the, employee or whatever. We write them and they respond back to us to confirm the genuineness of the certificate. Once they do that, that is all, and you attach some high price to it, you just get your margin. So let's take, for example, if I want to verify for certificate verification now, it's about 15,000 naira. That's the flat rate. Let's assume 15,000 naira to verify just one certificate. And you go to the school can tell you that, okay, in our school, we'll verify for 5,000 naira. You have made a margin of 10,000 naira just to verify. Yes, plus or minus, maybe courier services. Some schools will even send it by mail to you, email, and that's all. And you've done that. So a company reached out to me recently. They want to verify maybe about 100 of their employees. And now I'm just talking about certificate. And, background check is not just about certificate. And that's why I wrote some of these things here. We have criminal record verification. That alone, criminal record verification in, with Nigerian police force is about 10 to 15,000 naira, to do criminal record verification. So if anybody wants to do it and I decide to charge them 20 or 30,000 per verification, there's a profit margin on that. So there are some organizations that they just want full background check. We do all these things and submit the report for them, and if you are doing full background check verification, it can be as high as 200 or to 300,000 to do for one person. That's full verification. So, and the profit margin can be, substantial, can be. So we do all these things. If previous employment check, in fact, some of these previous employment check now, you just send a mail from your office to that office, they respond to you. It's as simple as that. They fill the form. Sometimes, you can do residential checks and all those things. So just decide the scope that you want. Some you want, to target, the commercial space. Some they want to target residential. And now, the truth of the matter is, for background checks, if the residential one, there's huge market in residential verification. In fact, there is an app now, checkmypeople.com. Some of us must have heard of it. Checkmypeople.com. That's what they're doing. Those guys, it's just 200 naira, maybe like 200 naira over. They designed an app to just do some elementary, very basic background check. See the kind of money those guys are raking. Like what? An app. Why can't you develop an app? You yourself. Just develop that kind of an app. Checkmypeople.com. I want some of us to just go and check up on them. Just with 200 naira, you just do it with your card, they deduct it, they give you just basic information about people, and that is all. It's part of background check. You can do it. You can develop an app. You can develop something where people will just go there and tell you what they want, and you do it for them. Very, very important. So you can design that. People are, they are getting drivers, security men, and they just want to know. Some of us will just hire blindly. We hire blindly, but we don't do some checks. But people don't do those checks because they don't know that there are companies that can help them to check. You understand? How can you entrust a car of 10 million, 15 million naira to a driver that you don't know where he lives? You don't know his family, you don't know his background, you don't know anything about him, and you entrust a car of 10 million, 15 million naira to the person. You just do a simple check. You understand? How can you entrust your kids to a driver that you have not done a check on, and you're telling that driver to take your kids to school and bring them back? Something can happen along the line. So it's very, very important. So there's huge market there. You can run into it and, big money. All right. As we begin the round of performance management, this is another very good area. For performance management, we have, so some people will just tell you, we don't know, our people, they're always fighting, there's always conflict. I want you to help us, to design. I want people to know what they are supposed to do. I want to know about, when people begin to talk to you like that, what are they looking for? They want you to design a JD. My brothers and sisters, we're all HR practitioners. JD, just go online. Don't understand. JD for instrumentation engineer. Just Google it. So, something will come out. Don't understand. Anything, just Google anything on JD of anybody, you will see it. My brothers and sisters, just copy this thing and paste it and have it somewhere. Put your own English, put your spice on it. This alone, for me to tell you, just this, performance management alone, we charge 3.5 million naira. 3.5 million. I've done it for many organizations. It's 3.5 to do JD, to do KPI calibration, and to design a performance management policy, and all that. I'm telling you, and the interesting thing is that the template is already on my laptop. Don't understand. No matter the number of companies that come, it's that template that I will go for. But they will still give me that 3.5 million naira. So I'm just telling you, the market is huge. And I know you are competent to do these things. So let's stop doing it for free, all the time. All the time. Stop doing it for free all the time. You don't have any business as an HR practitioner to ever be broke. You should never be broke. In fact, there should never be a week that you don't have a solution that you are providing for somebody. At one point in time, there's one webinar that you must be able to take. There's one, even just free motivation. Just motivation. Motivation is also it's no longer free. It's no longer free. So you can attach value to some of these things. And before you know it, we're there. All right. So just a few, my own 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes that I decided to share with us today. Thank you so much for listening. And I believe that if we begin to look at all these areas and consider them, we'll just see that, yes, it is worth retiring with. It's worth a place where we can just, just chill. You don't need to. Now, I must tell us, for there's always the challenges of business, and I shouldn't just paint the good side, to us. It's important for us to know that, yes, there are times there are low moments in business. There are times that I'd felt like, oh my God, I should have still been in paid employment. There are times that clients will promise you and they don't fulfill their side of the bargain. There are times and those things can be very, very, discouraging sometimes, so, but those are low moments, and we all have our low moments, even in the 8 to 5 job, there are times we have our low moments. You can make a mistake and might almost want to, destroy your reputation. So there are low moments, in the business line. There are times that business may not come as fast as you'd so desire. There are times that, clients might almost want to seal the deal now, and they will just tell you that, okay, the MD said we should hold on. And you have done everything. You've done your preparation. You've done budget. You've done everything. You've submitted everything. They'll just tell you that they said we should wait. Understand? Those things sometimes can be low. But also, if you weigh the good moments vis-a-vis the low moments, I think it is worth giving it, a shot. So I want to encourage us, please, let's kick out the quacks out of the market. Let's kick the quacks out of the market. I'll be glad if I have more people on this platform exploring these things, because there's a limit to which, we that we are professionals can go. We need you. We need you to get into the space. It's interesting sometimes we go back to review the work that some people have done, and you're wondering, how bad can somebody do this and still collect money? Do you understand? So it's very, very bad. So please, let's begin to do. You can do it from the comfort of your home. You can do it while you still have that job, as long as it's within the, policy framework of your organization to engage in that. You can do it. Once you're able to do that, I'm telling you, you will not leave HR and say you want to go and be doing, you want to go and set up pure water business. Pure water business is not bad, but there is money in this one. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Adedeji Aderele, I did not expect anything less. Thank you for ensuring that you've energized us. This is what we call a no holds bar session, back to back. We had a record participant today, 100. And of course, anybody who for one reason or the other dropped out could not get back in because somebody will have come in to the session while they were away. I don't know if you have time to take a few questions. Deji, can you confirm if you have time to take a few questions?
Yeah, why not? Why not? We can take.
Okay, so if you like to ask a question, do me a favor, raise up your hand. Let's keep it short and sweet, please. All right, let me start from my Oga at the top. Mr. Morakin Oloyede.
That's my Oga. My Oga, why do you want to ask a question now? This one, I will answer.
It may be contribution. It may be contribution.
It has better be contribution. Dr. Oloyede cannot ask me question.
Deji, have the floor, please. Deji, well done. That was a very nice presentation. And really, I am very proud of what you have made out of this, your sojourn in HR from our intercontinental days. I think we go home together every day. You remember anyway?
Yes.
I'll take him in my car and we go. But anyway, what I want to say is that what has been failing, a lot of our younger ones, we in our generation didn't do, was what they just went through. We refuse to bring up business acumen into the profession of HR. And that is why when we retire, we start begging around for training. Even the training is not well coordinated to earn money in the real sense of money. And that's why we have a lot of quacks around. And then when you talk about training, they don't respect you because quacks are even taking the chunk of the business because we didn't package it. But what they just told all of us, I want the younger ones also to listen very well, that he has brought business acumen into HR. If you have business acumen plus your professionalism in terms of the skills and competence you have in HR, there's no way you will not be making money that will prepare you to say, I want to do HR for 10 years, and after 10 years, I'll be on my own. That's exactly what they just said. So don't let me take the floor because I have several things to say, but let me allow the people we have addressed to talk. But I need to commend that initiative and especially taking your time to share your experience with people here. Thank you. We'll talk behind the scenes, Deji. Take care and my regards to your family.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
For your consistency and always being available. I will take Barrister Joma next. Then Tunde Wale Temo, please be on standby.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, thank you so much. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you so much for a very fantastic presentation. Before the presentation even ended, I was scared that the way I was taking notes, that I will forget to raise up my hand. and ask this question, but very fantastic and eye-opening presentation, sir. So my question is about this recruiter license. So I quickly went online when you were speaking about it earlier on, and I saw that you need 200,000. So my
Yeah.
question, apart from the money part, is some of the other requirements. They are asking you for a client's list of clients, and this is you just registering your company for the first time at CAC, and now wanting to register that company for maybe recruitment and every other services you can render under the company name, training and all that. But maybe recruitment is like your sole aim of registering that company.
Yeah.
How do you go about that part, the list of clients, because it's new?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have to get other clients from other areas that you want to use that company name for, and then you come back. Doesn't it take more time when you go that route?
Well, it will. In fact, for the recruiter's license, in fact, they would even expect that you've been in business for about 3 years before you would even, approach them, because there are times they can ask you for your tax clearance for 3 years and some other documentations that they would ask, apart from the ones that you even see on their website. They will ask for your company's handbook. They're going to request for your company handbook, your training, your training policy. They will ask for training policy and all that. So what I always advise people is that, and that is why I'm even encouraging everybody to even start now. Just start building your client base now before you get to that point. Because sometimes when we are ready, we'll discover that we don't have clients, or maybe we have clients, but we did not approach those clients from a professional standpoint. So if somebody is telling you to train for them, please don't just use word of mouth or the person just sends it by WhatsApp to you. Let there be a formal engagement. Those are records, those are documentation. Some of us have been training. We've been training for people, but like me, I'm on FITC faculty. I'm on Gottlieb faculty. I'm on the faculty of a lot of it. When they want to engage me to train for them or to do anything for them, there is an official letter. If I package all the letters that I've been collecting from all these people, I can use it to go and look for a job anywhere, and they will give it to me. So let's not take some engagement, on a light mode, from a professional standpoint. Let them give it to you. All those things, by the time you begin to pull them together, they will form the documentation that you need. When I was going to do in fact, let me just tell you, and it's important for us not to allow anything to limit us. You must get into business with the spirit of I can do it. And that is very, very important. When I started my outsourcing business, the truth of the matter is I did not have a recruiter's license. I did not. Because the interesting thing is that most people don't even know that this thing exists. They don't need it. They don't. I've gone to, bid for outsourcing contracts, and they won't actually. In fact, it's only multinationals, maybe banks, that they will ask you, that they will require that you must provide your recruiter's license. Some people don't know it exists. So when I was going to, get a job from a multinational at a time, but because it was a foreign company, they also didn't know that it was important, it was necessary. So they just engaged me and we started. But when I saw that the manpower size was increasing, I said to myself, DG, you are setting up yourself for trouble. This number is increasing. We started with 2, now we are 50. And DG, you don't have your life. I quickly ran to Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity, and they gave me the entire guideline. And that was why I started getting all those things. And thank God I've had, documentations from different clients. I was able to put all those things together. I had all my CAC documentation. I had my training handbook. I have my ITF and all those things. I had all those things put together. And that was how I started the process. You pay 200,000, then you pay another 5,000 naira. And once you do that payment, it takes a while, and it's only done in Abuja here. It takes a while, but your license will come out and it will carry 2 years. And it is renewable every 2 years or every 1 year. But the first one you collect is for 2 years. Subsequently, you can be renewing for 1 year or 2 years, as the case may be. And so please, let's make everything formal. Everything. Even if it's your friend, tell him, you know what, I want you to document this thing and send it to me. Like, I am the one consulting for you on this. Keep it. Keep keeping them. You will need it one day, for this. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have about 5 or 6 hands. So if your hand is not already up, please don't raise it. Okay, I will only call those hands already up. So they tell me, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Yemi, first of all, once again, for this. I mean, what you do for the HR spaces is quite commendable. And Mr. Dejadeli, wow. In fact, you really challenged me. You've challenged me, so you almost made me feel like going to drop my resignation letter and going to the
No, don't do that. Don't do that, I beg.
Just joking. But yeah, I mean, I like the perspective that even while you are in a 9 to 5, you can actually still do a lot of this, the flexibility that comes with it. And as long as there are no conflicts of interests, absolutely. I also do, I mean, you're aware, I also do some of these things myself as well. Actually, my question has been answered. The first person that spoke asked my question. It was about the recruiter's license. I just wanted you to talk us through the process, and you've already addressed that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tunde, for that. I would suggest to anybody.
Thank you very much.
Before I call the other 3 people, a key takeaway for you is that even if you don't have any plans of setting up your own business, go and just register a business. Even though today is not on the radar that you want to set up, Deji can confirm to this. Before I ever worked anywhere, the first thing I did was to register a business. And over the years, I've used the business many times. There have been instances people, maybe in their company, they want to give out a job, and they say, do you have anybody who can do this? And they will have spoken to 3, 4 people. I'll be the 5th person. The first 4 people didn't have a company they could use to deliver the service. And so the only reason I was getting those businesses was because I had a company way back when it was not fashionable to do so. So that should be on somebody's to-do list. Abosade Ogundipe, I've enabled you to unmute yourself. Please give it
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Deji, for the insight.
Thank you.
My question is, like we mentioned, we have so many quacks in the industry. And so I just want to know your marketing strategy, because sometimes I don't know how you get the jobs and what we should do if we want to get HR jobs. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my very first was people within my constituency. Well, let's show. Okay, so people within my constituency. So I'd worked in the bank, and I'd worked in the telecom space. So the moment I started my business, I was talking to, I would do like a WhatsApp blast, to people like, okay, yeah, I'm no longer in formal employment, but this is what I do. I offer this service, telling people, people need to know what you are doing. And that's just it, so that initially was my a marketing strategy. And that was when I started. And over time, yeah, people will call me, help us do this, help us do this. So the people within yours, and we're about 16,000 people. Don't understand? That's huge. That's huge. In fact, I've not scratched of influence. I've not scratched it at all, at all. It was even people that were very close to me that they know, so with that, that was how I started. And now when you now begin to solve, problems and solutions for organizations, now to now be referring you. So there are times I get referrals even outside the country, because I'd worked for, I'd offered solution to expatriates before. If there's going to be any Israeli company coming to Nigeria, they will refer to me. Do that thing. I don't know, maybe they've set it up somehow that any of their investors coming to Nigeria, maybe they would have done some ratings for you, because I just get a call from the here, and I heard you offer this kind of service. We're coming in newly to Nigeria. The gems on these and these and this, and that's the way it is. So once you begin to offer quality solutions to clients, they will start, referring, other people. They will start referring you to other people. So that has actually been, my marketing strategy. The truth of the matter is, I'm not there yet. I really still desire a bigger structure in place, where I can say that even within my own space, I have maybe about 20, 30. I want a situation where I will have, head of outsourcing, I will have head of learning and development, head of all those, and that happens with quantum of. So, but that's just it. The people within your circle of influence, let them know that you can do it. And the truth of the matter is, we have been doing it. We've just been doing it for free. That's it. If people know you as HR, they call you now. So let's start, making it. And once you now begin to have the liquidity, then you can now begin to do a lot more. Maybe on LinkedIn, you can do a lot more on social media, and you can even go into, even to billboards. You can begin to do billboards with, and just do some billboard blast all over. You can go to, you can begin to advertise on YouTube. Things like all these Jumia, all these big brands. What they do, they invest a lot in advertisement. But that can cost a lot of money. So for an SME, you might not be able to go straight into that. But within your own space, there is a lot, so much money. It will come with so much money. Sometimes I just do. I saw one invoice recently just to check, do a background check for 4 people. I saw 300 and something thousand, just 4 people. What am I verifying? WAEC, NECO, academic level. I'm just like, oh my God, this thing's much. What exactly is happening? But that's just the way that I was in my house one day, just one Monday morning, and I got a call, from a company. They wanted me to help them to do a check for over 200 employees. Over 200 employees, just waking up on a Monday morning. The entire estimation, I saw the money that was going to come in. I said, wow. And all of a sudden I started immediately. In fact, some of those checks, I was doing it on a background check for driver's license. driver's license. And for you to do driver's license check, it's online. You get to the link, you take the driver's license, you input the code. It generates whether it is genuine or not genuine. And as it was generated, I was printing. In just a short period of time, I've made so much money on that. So people will always refer you to people. Just do the job well. Keep referring.
Thank you so much.
Good.
About less than 7 minutes to end this call. I'll take OBK Grace. OBK Grace, if I might be on standby, are the final person to ask the question for today.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Yeah.
Everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Deji, and our great coordinator, Mr. Shei. Please, I have 2 questions to ask. The first one, currently I work in an outsourced firm, and I was trying to confirm or to get to know, as somebody that does such work, and if I want to be doing a side hustle, presently I know the heat of managing employees, because we manage like over 1,500 employees in some multinational firms. However, I treat not less than 3 issues on fraud or absenteeism or core employee risk and disciplinary action. So I'm trying to get, how do you manage such risks, or how do you manage such issues while also being in a formal employment and doing a side hustle? How are you able to manage such things, and what kind of advice can you give to somebody that wants to start such? Then secondly, in performance evaluation management, doing performance evaluation, in some, let me say in some firms, when you notice that maybe there might be 1 or 2 interests in some employees with those, let me say, with those that are supervising those employees, and that might not necessarily or will not willingly give you a good way for you to carry out that performance evaluation and be able to score those employees or to give them fair justice. So how do you advise we manage such situations in case such things arises? These are my 2 questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ma. So the very first question, in terms of risk, see, if you are doing business involved, but it is also risk insured. It is risk involved, but it is also risk insured. One of the criteria for the recruiter's license is you are going to have an insurance bond. There's an insurance bond that will cover lives. You are going to have an insurance bond, no doubt. You must have that. So the insurance bond actually helps you. So you estimate your exposure. So let's say if my exposure on a monthly basis is about 800 million on a monthly basis, that's my exposure. I will buy an insurance of that magnitude. So the insurance brokers, they have a way of calculating it, and they will tell you how much premium you have to pay. So you pay that, and that secures you, especially if you have, staff that are, exposed to, the properties of your client that are, very, very, high-handed. So do that. Most outsourced companies in banks, that's what they do. They'll buy that insurance bond for all the cash tellers. So if they steal money, that's why banks also, they have a way of hammering the, so if you steal, if any body steals money, they will just come straight to the outsourcing company and tell you that, you know, your teller has done this, take this teller away and refund our money. They know that they have what it takes to because one of the criteria for them to even enlist you is that insurance bond. If you don't have it, you will not play there. So that covers a particular side of the risk. So if you are going into outsourcing business, please make sure that you have that risk, you know, covered. Once you have that, then you can operate freely. Whatever happens, you know, you are able to at least be able to mitigate it. So that is what I would say in terms of the risk area. There are other risks that, you know, can be involved. Risk of, you know, a staff dying, being kidnapped, you know, and all those things. It's just a general, you know, CEO headache. All the staff are your staff. If you die, you have to do some things. If a staff is kidnapped, you know, there was a time, you know, one of my staff was kidnapped. You know, the staff was kidnapped, and you know, and that was my first encounter with something like that. The next thing, the client just said that was the first time they were even telling me that, Deji, you know, that staff is your staff. I said, people, this is they said, no, it's your staff. I said, what kind of problem is this? So what am I going to do? Am I going to be the one to negotiate with, you know, the abductors? I was just blank. But please, despite the fact that you are blank, don't show it like you have never seen it before. So inside me, I was shaking like, Deji, what have you gotten yourself into? Your staff has been kidnapped. What have I gotten myself into? And I'm the main person. I am the CEO. I am the one. No, you know, if you are working in an organization now, don't understand, you are head of HR, you know, you will still run to MD or the chairman or the board of director. Me, I'm the chairman, board of director, MD, everything. I say on this small head, you know, but, you know, that has gone now. We're able to secure its release and everything. And I learned the lessons and I moved on. So don't because of, you know, the challenges that will come, you know, not step out. Please just step out. Just step out. You know, and there are always challenges there, but the good thing is that you will surmount it. Just make sure that you do everything ethically, do everything, make sure that you cover every area that needs to be covered so you don't expose yourself to undue litigation. Also, in terms of performance management that you talked about, there are always performance management errors. There are errors in terms of rating people accurately. You know, what I always tell people is make sure that you have a well-calibrated, KPIs for your employees, and make sure that the quantitative aspect of your rating is always higher than the qualitative aspect, so that you are able to measure it. Once the quantitative is higher than the qualitative and it is well calibrated, the area of subjectivity is taken off completely, and it's brought to the barest minimum. So for performance management, just, calibrate very well. It will work. Thank you.
All right, and to our final question. Ifoma, I hope you are still online.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. First of all, thank you so much. I didn't come in early, but thus far it's been very good. Thank you. It's been amazing. My first question, I know you were talking about registering a business, a business for side gigs, let me put it that way. But I wanted to ask, does it have to be a full business or a business name? If we have a business name, does that suffice, or we should just do the full registration and all? That's one. Then two, I've also been doing some other things by the side, but what I've realized, unlike you said you started with people in your circle and where you've worked. But I just realized that maybe I have the wrong people in my circle, but I just realized that, and like I do CV writing, I design proposals and all. And then when you tell people how much it is, in my mind, it's not expensive. I'm not even charging anything at all. And people are like, oh my God, that's too much. What do you mean? And then you have people, you don't hear from them again. I've had one or two people, but still, I just have that back and forth. And I know someone had just asked the question, but I'm going to ask again. The marketing, how did you consistently just keep on doing it till you've gotten to this point? And you're saying you haven't even done anything, you've not scratched the surface. But if you haven't scratched the surface, I don't even know, I have not seen any surface in my own then. But how are you consistently doing it and still staying positive about the whole thing? Because it can really be frustrating. Frustrating when and people can just call you that, oh, Ifeoma, can you help? Do you have a template on this? And you tell them, you understand now. And they're like, now you're not my person, just do that. So they really don't want to pay that money. And they know if they go elsewhere, they will pay for it. But maybe because they know you, they don't want to pay for it. So those are just my two major questions. How do you consistently stay there? And then can I use a business name, or I have to fully do a registration for everything? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, for the registration, I would suggest that you do a full business, registration, because you will still need it. And the interesting thing is that the year you incorporate your business begins to count as the years that the business has been existing. In fact, there are jobs that I wanted to bid for, and they will tell you that your business must have been existing for the past 5 years or 10 years. I'll just be like, oh my God, and I've been doing this business, but I didn't incorporate it. I didn't go. So the earlier we do it, the better. It's just, at least in Nigerian space, it's just like it's just a piece of paper. If you can afford it, just put it. And like my company was incorporated in 2012, but I started full business in 2014. So it was just one piece of paper. I just kept it somewhere until, so those years are actually counting for you. And it will count when you want to bid. There are some jobs in United Nations. When I was going to, because one thing for United Nations, they will have to enlist you as, through the procurement process. And these were part of the things that were on their criteria. You cannot even enter if you don't have those minimum requirements. And sometimes you will see a job that you can do, but they will tell you that your company must have been in existence for so number of years. You can't tell them that I can do it. No, it is your certificate that will show that you have been in existence. So it's better the earlier we have it, that day it begins to count for us. So I would rather say that you do that. You can have a business name by the side and have, the full business registration by the side. It doesn't stop you, And the other one, in terms of, I would say that I also had my own fair share of, people not even believing in me, because now I had a lot of senior colleagues by the time I was pulling out. So a lot of senior colleagues that were still, in the 8 to 5 when I pulled out to start business. So it was easy for people to look at you that, what's wrong with you? What are you making your life? What are you trying to do, Seth? When you ask them, and these guys are rising, they are moving, this one will move, it's in this telecom space, it's in this, it's now regional, this, it's now that. But you are just trying to, in fact, sometimes, when I go to them, I will submit proposal. They will just laugh at you. They will be using the eye of, see this small boy that we used to push up and down. Are you the one that now want to provide solution for me? People that even know you, that they know the kind of mistake you make when we were working together, they're the ones that will not give you the job. And that's the truth. They will not give you the job, but some, God will just touch their heart, and they will just be like, oh, Deji, this is what you're doing. and they will just start with. So if I talk about the proportion of the people, the people within my circle of influence and the part of them that helped me, I can say it's just 1% of the people within my circle of influence, just about 1%. So for every, let's say I have 100 people, you understand? For every 100 people I approach, I will have a 99 no. A 99 no. But I was resolute, I was determined. Till today, some people will never give me job. They will, it's not about anything because they just feel that I know Deji. I know him now. Maybe we work together. Was he not in performance management? What does he know? What kind of solution? What kind of advisory service is he Deji that will come and advise me? Yeah, I'm telling you, so they will look at you like that. But please don't be discouraged. Just keep at it. Excuse me. My biggest break in business was from one of my colleagues in the bank. And the interesting thing is that if he himself knew that that was going to be a big break, he would have perhaps maybe quickly gone to CAC to quickly register a business. He did not know. The brief to him was just that, okay, there's one company that just needs a consultant to help them do something small, and it just felt that, who is around? Okay, this Deji, I think Deji is even trying to do one or two things together. He just called me and said, just talk to them. I think they want to do something. He didn't know that he was talking about something that would give me a turnover within a space of 4 years of about 1.2 billion. This guy was working 8 to 5. If he knew, do you understand? And the truth of the matter is, if this guy had registered a business and he had taken it seriously, that business would have gone to him. About 1.2 billion. That's not small. But he gave it cheaply to me. Because he did not know. He did not know. He was very oblivious of what was going to happen in the next 4 years of that referral that he was giving to me. So some people would give to you in pity. Don't understand, like, okay, let's help him. Some people would disdain you. They will just like, you are not serious. You are calling yourself CEO. Go and look for a job. What is wrong with you? Understand? What are you? What years of experience do you have that you are trying to do? They will say all manner of things to you. You understand? But I saw the future. I know that this is where it will still end. Why don't I start now? When I was under pressure sometimes of financial pressure, I would just be like, oh my God, can I go back? And I would just be like, yes, I can repackage my CV and look good, and they will accept me again, But I will say that, okay, Deji, even if you go in, yes, you can go in, but in the next 20 years, are you not going to come out? You'll come out and come back to this again. Why don't you just stay in and persevere and endure and go through this? And that is the staying power that I've enjoyed. Knowing fully well that I will still come back to it. If I run away from it now, I will still come back to it. The only reason why I want to run away is that there is an urgent financial need. If I can survive it, it is worth staying with this business. And that kept me going. So please, let's be resolute. A lot of people will disappoint you. A lot of people will not believe in you. But there are millions out there that don't even know your pedigree. They don't know anything about you. They didn't know whether you were a star performer in your former organization. They don't know. All they know is that you have a business and you can provide solution. They will give you the job. And as they're giving you, you are building your client base. To the amazement of your naysayers and the people that feel that you cannot do anything. So it's like, if I profile myself, if I profile my client base, some of those people that, some people I practically was begging them, but they will say a no. In fact, some people will be telling you, okay, don't worry. 4 years, don't worry. So why will I not worry? Don't understand. So God is bigger than men. It's very important that we hold on to God. and, pray, just take time to pray over that small business. I don't joke with prayers. I don't joke because mysteriously God has a way of connecting me, just has a way of connecting. Yes, there's a part of me doing the work, but there's this supernatural dimension that, only God can explain. Yes, I know this is a corporate space and we may not be able to explain that to its fullest, but there is a dimension that cannot be explained. If you explore those dimensions also, it can bring in some great fortune to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deji. There's one more thing you will do for us, but you will do it offline, but online. But hold on. So don't log out yet. Let me just wrap up so that we can stop recording and I'll quickly move to that. I'd like to thank everybody, the over 100 people who joined successfully. My sincere apologies to those who also tried to join or who were on the call and were logged out for one reason or the other. Please do me one or two personal favors. If you are yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please subscribe. In addition to that, put comments, like all the videos you see, share your thoughts, the notes you took. Let us have your comments on it. If you'd like to invite anybody to join this community, I've shared on the group, on the chat group, the information required. Let them fill the form. Our director of membership will get back to them. Also, perhaps you've been listening to this session over and over, and there's something you too can teach people. Reach out to me so that we can schedule you. I know a guy said, don't do anything for free. This one will be doing for free. At least I think Gade has also taught us today for free, even though it's a sin. Thank you so much. But hold on, we'll do one more thing and we're out of here. Just one.